A parents' evening was planned to start at 16:30. There were 20 consecutive appointments of 10 minutes each and a break of 15 minutes during the evening. At what time was the parents' evening due to finish? Give your answer using the 24-hour clock.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is add up all these minutes. We're going to times it by the 20, so 10 tens is 100, 10 20s is therefore 200. We need to add in the 15-minute break. That would give us 215. We now need to convert that 215 minutes into hours. Now we know there's 60 minutes in an hour, so therefore we just count up. So 60, 120, 180 will be 3 hours. And then we need to find the remainder of the minutes, and all we do is simple subtraction. 5 take away 0 is 5, 1 take away 8, carry 2, carry 3, leaves 3. That cancels out that. So that leaves us 3 hours and 35 minutes. And we just now need to add that on to the 16:30, so that would be 17:30, 18:30, 19:30, 20:05. That will be the finishing time.
Teachers organised activities for 3 classes of 24 pupils and 4 classes of 28 pupils. What was the total number of pupils involved?
Okay, right, so first thing we need to do is multiply these two sums. So 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1, 3 times 2 is 6, add the 1, so that's 72. 4 times 8 is 32, 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 3 is 11. And then all we're going to do is add these two figures up, doesn't matter which one you drop down. I'll bring 72 here, then it is adding up, so 2 plus 2 is 4, 7 plus 1 is 8, 1, so that's 184 pupils in total.
All 30 pupils in a class took part in a sponsored spell to raise money for charity. The pupils were expected to get an average of 18 spellings correct each. The average amount of sponsorship was 20 pence for each correct spelling. How many pounds would the class expect to raise for charity?
Right, okay, so what we need to do here is we need to times the 30 pupils by the 18. So simple multiplication. We're going to put a 0 here in this column for the tens, and then we're going to go 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 3 is 3, 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 3 is 24. Then we're going to add these figures up, so that's 0, 4, 5, 540. Now we need to times the 540 by the 20p, so bring it down, put the decimal in, 20 there, and then we're going to do multiplication here. So again, we're going to put 0 in there for the tens, and then 2 times 0 is 0, add the decimal point, 2 times 4 is 8, and then 2 times 5 is 10, giving us £108.
As part of the numeracy work in a lesson, pupils were asked to stretch a spring to extend its length by 40%. The original length of the spring was 45 centimetres. What should be the length of the extended spring? Give your answer in centimetres.
Okay, it looks quite complicated, this sum, but it really isn't. If you've learnt the conversion sheet by now, you'll know what to do with decimal point to find 10%. So we're going to go ahead and do that straight away. So 10% of 45 centimetres is 4.5. Therefore, 20%, you're probably ahead of me at this stage, is 9. And 40%, so you don't really need to write this out, is 18. Then you add the 18 onto the 45. Now you could do this by just rounding up the 18 to 20, which will give you 65, minus the 2, which will give you 63. And that is the final answer. So it sounds such a complicated sum, but using a conversion sheet, knowing where to put the decimals in, no problems.
For a science experiment, a teacher needed 95 cubic centimetres of vinegar for each pupil. There were 20 pupils in the class. Vinegar comes in 1,000 cubic centimetre bottles. How many bottles of vinegar were needed?
Okay, right, first of all what we need to do is times the pupils by the 95, so bring that down there. Now, we've talked about doubling and halving. This is one of those occasions where if it was 10 pupils times by 95, we'd know it would be 950. So to find the 20, we just double the 950, which gives us 1900 centimetre cubed. We know that one bottle is 1,000 cubes, so therefore we're going to need 2 bottles.
The morning session in a school began at 09:25. There were 3 lessons of 50 minutes each and 1 break of 20 minutes. At what time did the morning session end? Give your answer using the 24-hour clock.
Right, okay, so the first thing we need to do is, this is multiplication, and then that is adding on that final 20 minutes. So 3 times 50 is 150. Add on the 20, that gives us 170 minutes. Now this is similar to a question we've had before, so what do we need to do now? We need to turn those minutes into hours. Well, we count up 60, 120, 180 would be 3 hours. Okay, so let's make it simple for ourselves. Add on the 3 hours and then take away 10. So that'd be 9:25, 10:25, 11:25, 12:25, minus off those 10 minutes would take us to 12:15. There's the answer.
6 out of 25 pupils scored full marks in a test. What percentage of pupils scored full marks?
Okay, so we know this one, we know how to make it a percentage. Bring 100 over here. We say how many times will 25 go into 100? Well, that will be 4 times. Now we take that 4, we bring it over here, and we multiply it by the 6, cancelling that out. So 4 times 6 is 24%. That's simple.
What is 643 divided by 0.1?
Right, okay. Well, I can see the answer straight away here. All we will be doing is moving this 0 over to here, which will give us 6,430, sorry. I'm not going to go into the reasons why I've actually done that. You will not see anything more complicated on your tests than this. Try it out for yourself with a calculator. If you made it 0.2, 0.3, you would then have a decimal point in here, and it would just be so hard to calculate manually, and it'd take too long. So if you ever see this question in your test, you know immediately you're just dragging that 0 over to that side, giving you 6,430.
In a class of 24 pupils, 3 need additional support. What fraction of the class do not need additional support? Give your answer in its lowest terms.
Right, okay, so the answer wants us to give it as in a fraction. So therefore, first of all, we need to take these 3 pupils away from 24, which will leave us 21. Going to make this a fraction now. We're going to put it, the overall total always goes on the bottom, so the overall total is 24 pupils. And all we need to do here, folks, is just cancel this fraction down. So what I mean by that is we need to find a number which will go into both of them. And I can see straight away, because obviously I know my times tables, that 3 will go into 21 7 times. So that's that one. And 3 will go into 24 8 times. Now we need to cancel this fraction down lower. However, there's nothing which will go into 7 or 8. There isn't a same number. So therefore, our answer is 7/8.
A teacher took a group of pupils to an aquarium whilst visiting France. The total entrance cost for the group was €160. Taking 1.6 euros as equal to £1, what was the total entrance cost in pounds for the group of pupils?
Okay, right, so all we do here, it's a bit like the conversion sheet, is we just build it up. Okay, so it's £10, then we'll take it to £100. So we know that we just take the decimal point away there. So that's €16, it's 10. And then here, all we're doing is adding the 0 in because the decimal point's now jumped over here. So therefore, get £100 for €160.
A pupil achieved 84 marks out of a possible 120 in a test. What percentage mark did the pupil achieve for the test?
Right, okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to break this fraction down to its lowest figure. And I can see straight away, now this will be a giveaway in the test. Remember, they're not going to be too complicated, that it's 12. They'll usually do this on this type of question, is give it to you. So we know that our 12 times table, 12 will go into 120 10 times, 12 will go into 84 7 times. Let's just put that there. So that gives us a fraction of 7/10. Now we need to convert that into a percentage, get the conversion sheet. You know that 1/10 equals 10%, so therefore 7/10 will equal 70%. And that's your answer. I know I keep on going on about it, but it's key you know the conversion sheet, and then it's really quite simple. It just saves you doing loads of calculations.
A school trip was planned at a total cost of £120 per pupil. The accommodation costs 2/5 the total. What was the cost of the accommodation per pupil?
Ah, right, okay. So what we've got to do on this one is we need to cancel out this fraction. So first of all, you'll start with the base figure here, which is 5. So how many times does 5 go into 120? Well, that's 24 times. And now, so we can cancel that. And now we take this 2 and we times it by the 24, which gives us 48. Okay, always start with the base number. The base number is dividing it into there, and the top number is always multiplying it.
A school's policy for Key Stage 2 was to set 3.5 hours of homework per week. What was the mean number of minutes to be spent on homework per weekday evening?
Right, okay. Per weekday evening, so that means there's 5 of those, isn't there? Right, okay. Just be careful on questions like that, because you have to find the number yourself. A weekday, as soon as you hear a week, you think 7, but per weekday evening. Okay, right. So we need to get this 3.5 hours into minutes, don't we? And then divide it by the 5. How do we do that? Well, 60 minutes in an hour, so 60, 120, 180 is 3 hours, plus a 30, which would give us 210 minutes. And then all we do here is we divide it by the 5. So 5 into 2 doesn't go, carry the 2 over. 5 into 21 goes 4 times, carry the 1 over. and then 5 into 10 goes 2. So the answer is 42 minutes per weekday evening.